Gotsky looking for that damage, finds him on the Diablo. Diablo forced it back out as their health drops low. The Immortal now is at 25%
Back down,
here.
Yo on the Greymane, gonna be the first to fall. But is it ETC? No, that's Malthael up there. A triple.
Leyline used in the back, catching 3 people on top. That followed up by the APOC and the Lurking Arm. Catching 2, but this time on is gonna be the first one.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi.
There's the lead, catches him in the mud pit. Time trap does pop. Mosh pit goes out. Ruben's still in trouble. Pops to stay a while and listen, but it's not going to matter.
Here comes the bloodlust on the backside. The Visual gets under and then stunned. Oh my goodness! The combo!
Getting shrunk down, ETC getting killed. He becomes dog food for the Greymane.
I didn't think they had a chance. I thought it was all over. We said all or nothing, and they got absolutely everything.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next gaming series. I apologize. Just now my mic decided to get all funky, so give me 1 second. I'm going to put you on another thing real quick, and then we'll be right back from that. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. That was crazy and random, and I apologize if I don't throw this toy. Somebody's gonna be mad. So, anyways, it's the beginning of the series here between the Devil's Rejects and Icecrown Citadel Knights. This is a Division D East matchup. Sorry, we had a little bit of a weird start to the stream, but we're we're all set and ready to go here to get started between these two teams. I do have map bans, I have standings. Let's take a look at those. Right now here on the standings, Devil's Rejects sitting with 5 points. Icecrown Citadel Knights, they've got 1 point so far. I believe those were 2 games for both teams. Not 100% positive, but I think that's what I saw earlier. And as far as our map bans, let's take a look at that. So we've got the Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire. Both of these are banned out by the Devil's Rejects. And then we've got the Braxis Holdout and Infernal Shrines banned out by Icecrown Citadel Knights. Our first map of the evening going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. So there you go. Now you're all caught up. You know who these teams are in relation to each other in the standings. We know what our series looks like at the beginning here. It's going to be the Tomb of the Spider Queen to get started. It's a small map. We could see a lot of wave clear. Wave clear is the top priority here to keep those rotations moving and to keep the opportunity for those gem turn-ins coming. And our teams are ready to get started. And this is a map that can get out of control a little bit. Logan Square. What's Logan Square guy, dude? I'm so confused. I'm sorry. And somebody wants attention. Again, I apologize. I don't think she comes across too much on the stream, but she just wants to play right now. That's Alice, by the way. Chi-Town Soldier, welcome. Glad that you could be here. But Tomb of Spider Queen, we did get a patch not even an hour ago, or almost exactly an hour ago. I think it was at 8:10 or 8:09. That patch changed some of the bugs that were out in the game. I'm assuming that that's been updated in the announcements. Falstad and Tyrael have been fixed and are legal for play in NGS. So yes, Falstad's Lightning Rod quest at level 1, I don't remember the new name of it, is available and not stacking on literally everything now. And then Tyrael no longer causing his CDR from exploding on minions. Seems like a nice change there. And then, of course, Mephisto actually was reverted on his change as well. So there you go. It's a neighborhood in... Oh, gotcha. Okay, sorry. So Brightwing and Diablo. Interesting. Like, those two are heroes that get picked together pretty frequently. So it's interesting to see them band out on either side. But Diablo can shadow charge into walls all over the place here. Brightwing doesn't get as much global value, but she's still just a really strong hero. She has that polymorph, potentially the greater polymorph as well. So I mean, it's a good ban, especially if you want to have an engage hero, maybe something like a Zeratul, which can have some okay wave clear. The Diablo that's picked, or that's been banned there, maybe even like an ETC. So there are a lot of ways that Brightwing could cause issues. Now, Chromie did see some adjustments to her talents as well. For slowing sands, cost was increased and the range reduced. So that's a big difference for Chromie. There were also some increases to some lesser performing talents, like the once again the first time, giving her that extra 5% damage when she completes that quest. And Sonia going to be mad. Sonia's a really strong hero. She's got good wave clear. She's very self-sufficient, can get camps, can hold the lane against, pretty much most of the heroes out there. But it's going to be Falstad, going to be the first pickup. And I have to say, if you have not played the Lightning Rod build, even aside from the fact that it was bugged, if you're just able to continue building that Lightning Rod onto players, it is insane how much damage that can do. So I'm interested to see this perform in a live game and see how it does. Because I know just my own, on a Braxis game I played the other day, yesterday, the Lightning Rod damage was getting up to 1,000 damage, or almost 1,100 damage. It was 1083 the last I looked, on boss targets. For some reason it was more on them than players. I don't know if I don't recall if there's a difference with players, but 1,000 damage, and there were 5 ticks or so it's pretty crazy. Mal'Ganis saw some increases to his power as well, so we'll have to see how he performs. And on the other side, we've got the Mei and Tassadar. Now this is interesting. We have 2 different ways to create walls. We also have an Avalanche, which can, coupled with Tassadar's force walls, can really set up some significant zone areas here. But this is also, again, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and these corridors are very narrow. It really sets up a lot of potential for engage or disengage, depending on what Tassadar feels that he needs. And there goes Stukov's. It's kind of interesting to see them get rid of the Stukov, because Stukov would be fantastic, whether it's an ice wall or an avalanche. If you're able to get a group of those people into one area and then pop off that silence, like, that's huge. Thank you, Ektar. That would explain it. It's still a lot of damage. It's crazy. Like, even without that, you're still doing almost 600 damage per tick at the end of it. So I mean, it started off as, if I remember correctly, like 800 up to 1100 or so when you account for all the 20% bonuses and all that stuff at the mid to late game. I mean, that's a lot of damage to any hero. If you're able to keep like a Chromie in line, that's basically your health pool. So Tychus going to be banned out, so he's not going to be able to really push down this Yrel and Mal'Ganis. Again, I think Tychus could have been a great pick for the Devil's Rejects, but of course it's not their turn. So Anduin's coming up. He's got that Light Bomb to be able to go in onto a Mei, or potentially even the Leoric, that could, again, disrupt that back, especially Leoric, who couldn't even be stopped by a Urel Hammer or a Mal'Ganis Fellclaws. There we go. It's been so long since I've seen a Mal'Ganis that I forgot the ability. Azmodan. Somebody was asking earlier about Azmodan on this map, and you know, this was kind of Azmodan's main map ever so long ago, so it's not a big surprise to see Azmodan here. That said, it's an interesting choice. Like, they're going to be a 4-man with the Falstad with the change to the Boomerang, so he's going to be able to hit that in those minion waves, and of course that means that it gives Azmodan the chance to stack a little bit easier. And for our final pick here, it's going to be Phoenix. Phoenix did also see some upgrades, so another hero that's going to be interesting to watch tonight. So a lot of changed heroes here over these last few days being picked up. And Passadar. All right, so there are your drafts. Just doing a quick check to make sure nobody's changed. Just real quick here. Like we are good. Well, Hebrew. All right, we are all set. So let's go ahead and get onto the game screen. I'm going to come back to chat if I can catch up while we're waiting for this to load. But real quick, let's go ahead and start a prediction. See who you think is going to win. Is it going to be the Devil's Rejects? Or Icecrown? Citadel? All right, you can bet your channel points there and use channel points to increase which side you think is going to win. But of course, it's the winner takes all of the points, right? So, and splits it up based on what you've deposited. So good luck with your channel points there. Let's go ahead and get into this game. And we'll get started on the left here. We've got the Devil's Rejects. We've got Hebrew Hammer playing the Urel. Kind of fitting there. Soldier of God playing the Falstad. We got Symbolic on the Azmodan. Satan Saves on the Mal'Ganis. And Lunatic playing the Malfurion. And on the right, it's Icecrown Citadel Knights. We got the Lich Queen playing Leoric. Maduin on the Tassadar. Let's see, we got Shinboku going to be playing that Mei. Shank B 9 on the Phoenix. And of course, Hazard 716 on the Anduin. That's going to trip me up a little bit because we got Maduin who's not playing Anduin. We got the Lich Queen who's not playing Arthas. I don't know how we're going to deal with this, but we're going to try to get through it. Getting these talents up here. We see Mal'Ganis looking to get a big sleep. Does sleep 2 of the back line there. So getting that pause button. And you don't necessarily have to get kills out of the sleeps if you can convert kills elsewhere thanks to the sleeps. Now, getting the sleep onto Mei certainly was helpful, but there's a nice blizzard zoning them out here. Mei getting caught in the root. And then it is going to be the Emerald Dreams. This is a new level 1 talent for the Malfurion. So extra sleeps. That could also be really interesting with a combo if Mal'Ganis takes the additional auto attack damage on his auto attacks on sleeping targets. So we'll have to see how that turns out. First time I've actually been able to see that talent in process. So interesting to see this one here. All Jordan Daddy's here with the dunks. There you go. All right, so we got Hebrew Hammer's going to start working on this double soak. Leoric a little bit behind, deciding to instead stay in the bottom lane as the rest of the rotation coming in from the Icecrown Citadel Knights to keep this mid lane clear. So doing a little bit more double soaking on their part, which is kind of interesting. You would kind of think that the Azmodan team would be the one wanting to get those double soaks for the stacks here early. But instead getting a little bit of damage onto that wall as Phoenix heading up there as well. Mei having a tough time with all of the CC. Hasn't gotten killed for it yet. But this is going to be a very difficult game for her, especially since the cryo freeze is a pause button for her, right? She gets unstoppable. She heals for 40% of her health. But she's stuck there. So that root is going to have an impact over time. We see here getting caught by the Fell Claws, now put to sleep, and Malfurion once again root into the sleep. So these roots and sleeps could be an absolutely fantastic combo for the Azmodan, especially when you get into late game. If you get that, man, I can't remember his globe talent now. Sinful something, I think they changed it to. It's going to be absolutely monstrous. Big knockback there from Hebrew Hammer. Madu in a little bit of danger, is going to be able to make it out. Boku coming in with that Blizzard to zone out the Yrel and just make sure that Tassadar is able to get away. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we are going to see Leoric scouting below just to make sure that there's nobody on the siege camp in the bottom there. But Azmodan getting the top wall done here. Now, a little bit behind on stacks, so I expect that this is probably not going to be the globe talent at level 10. I expect that this is likely to be a Siege Grunts, and that instead of going kind of more for the team fights, we may actually see like the Demonic Lieutenant upgrade that gives the additional 25% when you've got your Lieutenant out there. And then you go Siege Grunts, you put out some extra warriors like we've got right here, this Army of Hell, and you take down structures in basically no time. It's a little bit of an interesting map for that because the rotations can be pretty quick here, but when you've got the Malfurion, when you've got the Mal'Ganis, you can kind of zone for that. So I think that's probably what we're going for. Now we'll see if Phoenix is able to kind of negate that with maybe a laser, if that is the call. It might be a little bit difficult to make that happen though. Level 7's now here for the Devil's Rejects. So they do have a brief advantage for a moment. Phoenix getting caught is going to try to warp away, but put to sleep instead. The root coming out from Malfurion just a moment too late. And Phoenix able to get away. 23-12 on the gem count. So not quite either team really in a great position, but there definitely could be a turn here soon, as Mei getting caught is going to go ahead and use that icing to get out. And Phoenix warping over the wall. This could be the opportunity to get a turn in for the Devil's Rejects, and that's exactly what Yrel is looking to do here. Leoric moving up, not quite in time, and we're going to get our first objective of game number 1. And this is where things get a little bit dangerous for the Icecrown Citadel Knights, as they've already got this top wall down. So that first Web Weaver going to come in pretty close to the wall. And when you've got the Azmodan there, you can provide additional minions as well as the zoning damage. You can take out the minion wave as well to help. But they're instead going to do that in the mid lane, bringing all of the defense up into the top lane. Icecrown Citadel Knights don't want to lose that, because that's the boss lane. They want to keep that available as long as possible, at least. But that will cost them their mid fort, it looks like. And there's still a minion wave up here. So, I mean, that still can get a fair amount of damage. And with the Azmodan warriors, it wouldn't surprise me if they head up there here in the near future to convert that fort. But they're getting a lot of value out of this push in mid. Almost a level up now, thanks to getting that keep, or that fort rather, the whole wall here, the extra towers that they've gotten. So that structure XP coming in really hot for them. We are going to see Falstad fly up, gather that minion XP, and the rotation looking at this top fort now. With level 10s just around the corner, Icecrown Citadel Knights needs to make some kind of play here. And it looks like the play they're going to make is to get the Web Weavers coming out. Yrel, however, stalling them out long enough that Mal'Ganis is going to make it down. Top fort did go down, and of course it is that Siege Grunts as expected for the Azmodan. So Red Web Weavers are going to be coming out here. They're pushed back a little bit. And Mal'Ganis is going to find the Leoric. He's not going to catch up to the Anduin. Leoric's going to just Wraith Walk right away. Not even going to bother worrying about the Malfurion route. And bot lane's going to get cleared up pretty quickly here. As level 10's now available for Icecrown Citadel Knights. Let me know if this sound, if there's not enough if you can't hear me or if it cuts out at all. Icewall's coming out. Here comes the Light Bomb and the Meme Beam. Looking at that, Falstad is able to get away just barely. The Twilight Dream coming out with the Mighty Gust. Going to push everybody back into the corner as Carrion Swarm coming in from Mal'Ganis, getting a little bit of damage on the team. Keeping himself nice and healthy. So just couldn't quite get the full lockdown that they needed for the kill onto Falstad. And it's a little surprising. Falstad is not overly tanky himself. So they're going to need to be able to put out a little bit more damage than they did to be able to secure those kills. Because Falstad, likely the squishiest on that team, maybe Malfurion a little bit less so. Or a little bit more so. They're both pretty close. I think Malfurion has just a slight advantage in the health department there. And Azmodan has the Siege Grunts available, so this is kind of pretty much exactly what he wants. The team down in the bot lane, he's pushing up this top lane, clearing this lane, and then if they don't rotate in fast enough, he just goes and pushes that keep. So Phoenix, recognizing that, is going to rotate up, but now they've got to look at the 25 he's turning in here. They're going to pass him, and he's going to be able to turn those in just exactly enough to get the second Web Weaver for his team. Down in the bot lane, Leoric trying to do their best to keep this bottom fort up. It's not going to last, considering the full rotation coming in from the Devil's Rejects. So this bottom fort is toast. And there's the Siege Grunts. I'm a little surprised that they used it so early on this. I think it would have been better to use it like up here if they were going to just push bottom lane, or even if they ultimately switched and went up to the top lane once Icecrown Citadel Knights rotates down to clear bottom. I think that would have provided a lot more value, as we do get level 13 here. So it's actually not going to be the upgraded Demon Lieutenant. So instead going into that laser beam for the Azmodan. Lich Queen there getting caught by the team. Could not Wraithwalk out quickly enough. And so now we have our second kill of the game. One for each team. Here comes the Ice Wall. They don't have Leoric, so there's no Entomb. The Mighty Gust is going to be able to push back, and this keep looking to fall here pretty soon. Mal'Ganis, however, ignoring the keep, instead looking to go behind as Falstad taking tower shots. It's pretty low, but not low enough. And there goes Mal'Ganis, putting actually nobody to sleep. Carrion Swarm coming out to keep him a little bit healthy, as Light Bomb coming out and missing, I think. But there come the Fell Claws as Mal'Ganis has almost no health, trying to make it away as under 50 health. Does get taken out, but are they able to make it out? Shinboku just barely able to make it out. Ardent Defender coming in on the Yrel just in time, and that's going to spell doom for the Anduin. Falstad with the Lightning Rod trying to get that damage onto Tassadar. And Siege Grunts now out onto the core. The shield is down, so is going to be permanent core damage as 2 keeps down with that push. And they're both on even talents now. We've got 13 for both teams. Icecrown Citadel Knights struggling a little bit into this team. They've got the Roots and Sleeps that are really putting the brakes on, making it difficult for them to engage or disengage. They're really relying on setting up those combos. And the challenge is kind of like with an ETC Mosh into a group of 5 heroes that don't have, or that all have Mosh interrupts. You have to find the perfect combo, because if you don't get the right people in it, there's a Mighty Gust, Ardent Defender from Yrel, a Twilight Dream from Malfurion. There are a lot of ways, even the Sleep from Mal'Ganis, a lot of ways to put a hold on the combo. So they've really got to find a way to make sure that they bait out some of those abilities and then go for it from there. Leoric looking for the bait here, as Falstad going to get the Gust. Anduin has the Light Bomb, but he is rooted and asleep, trying to make it away. I'm not sure he makes it, especially with that Carrion Swarm. Going to take him out. Can't get away from that. The laser coming into the Leoric Entomb, but once again, just not quite enough to be able to take out that Falstad. And with the kill onto Anduin, Devil's Rejects are looking to make their way to the core. The Siege Grunts coming out once again to start working on the shield. Tassadar put to sleep as Yrel in the backline knocks away the Mei, but it's actually Tassadar who's going to fall first. Malfurion will fall next, but the core coming down very quickly. And that's going to be game number 1 going over to the Devil's Rejects. Very low kill count on the game there, 4 to 4. It was a lot of that was just simply the ability of Devil's Rejects to be able to continue the pressure into the team. They had Mal'Ganis who could do the siege throughout the entire game. Did I say Mal'Ganis? They had the Azmodan who could do that. They had the Mal'Ganis who was in a position to really disrupt the team throughout. And then, of course, the Malfurion follow-up. The combination of that Root and Sleep made it very difficult for anybody on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights to get where they wanted to go effectively. And with the backline, the Malfurion, the Falstad able to kind of stay spread out, it was a little difficult for May to be able to catch somebody really isolated. They caught the Falstad a couple of times, but couldn't convert those kills. And I think, you know, to a certain degree, a little bit about this is the team, aside from May, had a little bit of a difficulty being able to get into fighting range, right? I mean, Tassadar and Phoenix are generally a little bit farther away, although Phoenix has a shorter range, of course. And then Anduin kind of got exposed a couple of times, that Falstad at the end with the bait from Azmodan. And Azmodan's great bait. He's got a ton of hit points. So even though he doesn't have any real significant disengage or ways to leave, I guess other than trample, I think it's called. But other than that, I mean, he's just a big body. So that's where we are right now. Game 1 going over to the Devil's Rejects. Let's check in on our prediction. Whose prediction outcome? Icecrown Citadel Knights got all of the votes. Well, unfortunately, it was the Devil's Rejects. And so that means all of your points belong to us. There you go. Well, we've got game number 2 coming up here soon. And let's take a quick look at what the map bans were again so that we know, what can we do here? Where can we go? Well, what we've got left, Alterac Pass, Cursed Hollow. We got Garden of Terror. Not sure why Tomb of the Spider Queen still shows there, but okay. We got Towers of Doom and we got Volskaya Foundry. So, a lot of big maps, with the exception of, I don't even know that you could call Towers of Doom maybe a medium-sized map. But the rest of those are pretty large. And it looks like it is going to be Towers of Doom. Hot off the press, we just found out. And I'm assuming... Let's see. Yeah, so this looks like the choice of our red team, the Icecrown Citadel Knights. We have a Mal'Ganis fan out in the chat. There you go. Let's see. I didn't write any of that down. So there you go. Let's see. Diablo and Sonia were banned. Stukov and Tychus was last. Romy and Brightwing. Alright, cool. We're good. So, I would like to see... I mean, if the Devil's Rejects was looking at something similar, and on a map like this, 100% they could, right? I mean, Azmodan can do so much work here. The Yrel can get around the map quickly. She can be very disruptive into the enemy team when they want to channel the altars. And Mal'Ganis, right? I mean, he loves coming out of bushes and putting you to sleep. So, I really need to fix that Nightbot, but whatever. That's going on tomorrow. Oh. Casting Storm Division here. I'm casting it there. I should really change that. Rivalox? Anyways, thanks for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the cast when I'm not distracting myself. So I'd like to see a little bit of difference. You know, maybe something like the Rainer. The Brightwing actually would be really, really good to counter that Mal'Ganis. Brightwing works so well into Mal'Ganis. So, you know, that explains a number one reason why they banned it so early. You know, but they need to be looking at ways to kind of shut down Mal'Ganis from being able to just do what he wants. And that's why I was saying like Rainer, who can just easily push him back, right? Just get out of here. So that, you know, that's potentially one option. Maybe even a Garrosh, right? I mean, they could pop the Indomitable, and then, hey, if his sleep's already down, you throw him over and you're good. I already told you, I'm always right. So, you know, something like that maybe could work. But they need to, you know, even like if they could work out a Medivh, potentially, maybe. That might be a little bit tough because of the Malfurion. But it does give them some, like, battlefield maneuverability, right? If Mal'Ganis is coming in, you can just be like, I'm out of here. Take that portal to somewhere else. So they've got some options there. But I think that shutting down the Mal'Ganis is key if they want to perform in game number 2 here. Or they just ban it. And they may very well do that. I mean, heroes like Diablo doesn't put you to sleep and, you know, directly enable the Malfurion quite as much as a Mal'Ganis sleep does. So something like that could help. Of course, you know, Diablo himself can be pretty disruptive, but if they're concerned about a Diablo, I might ban the Diablo and the Mal'Ganis. Yeah, any displacement. Yeah, exactly. I hadn't even thought about like a Lucio. Yeah, exactly. ETC works really well. I think if I remember correctly, ETC power sliding into Mal'Ganis puts him to sleep for some reason. It's been a while, so I can't quite recall. Like I said, I haven't seen a Mal'Ganis in a very long time. We'll see. We are going to get Brightwing as the first ban, and on Towers of Doom, I think Brightwing, even aside from the Mal'Ganis, is a fantastic ban. Diablo's going to be the pick as well. Make sure that we have the same people on the sides here. So I think both of those are perfectly fine. The prediction will come up at the end of the draft, Euro. I suppose I could do it. You know what? I'll just do it for the 5 minutes. I'll put it up now. That's fine. Chromie going to be banned out. And this is where they kind of have to decide, like, do they want to ban out that Mal'Ganis, or maybe even the Malfurion? I think the Mal'Ganis was the bigger issue there, because it allowed for those engages. Or do they stick with, like, the Sonia? I don't think Sonia is as much of a threat. I think she is a threat. I just don't think she's as big of a deal. Azmodan's going to be the pick. And I think that's actually an okay ban, too. Like, that does change a little bit. Azmodan here is able to siege down those towers, and they could even if they found themselves behind on points, because of the map that this is, that doesn't really matter. So I think that's still a good ban. Let's see. Citadel. There you go. You got 5 minutes on your predictions. That should be around the end of draft, so there you go. Li Ming, however, going to be the first pickup here. Now, this is... And there's Psychos. Li Ming is really good here, I think, because she's able to poke away at those altars quite effectively. And can do a lot of damage with it too, right? With a potential Seeker, or just going Orb build, and you can constantly bomb those. There you go. Varian is going to be the pickup. So Varian's also another solid pick to go along with that Tychus. Now, I assume that they're going to be looking for somebody else that can provide that oomph, right? Because you've got the Li Ming on the other side. She doesn't have a lot of hit points. If you can get a good taunt on her, that would be fantastic. Sonia and Sylvanas going to come in, and those are a couple of really strong heroes. You got Sylvanas, who can shut down towers. kind of has the same potential value as the Osman, but I don't think she does it quite as well because of just how much he brings to the table. But anyways, Varian, like, I think they're gonna be looking for somebody with a strong punch. There's no Li Ming to go with that. They've got the Tychus who can, you know, melt a target down pretty quickly. Goes Lucio. Now that is an interesting ban. So maybe they're thinking like it's got to be for the high 5. I'm thinking. Yes, absolutely cheer for your own team. There's absolutely no reason not to do that. Lucio's going to be the ban there, so that's taken out. And Malthael going to be the pick. So that makes sense. The Malthael making sure that they can't get a combination of the Tychus shred plus Malthael shred. Channel points going pretty evenly. The vote is pretty even so far, so that's quite interesting. Let's see. All right, so our next couple of picks here. There goes the Stukov. So that was banned last game. They didn't want it then, but now with the Varian, that definitely helps to lay that out. Now, Tassadar, I'm not sold on this as a pick for the Varian. I'm not sure that it brings quite the punch they need. Maybe it does, especially if you go into like the Q build, because eventually you do get that strong punch. We'll have to see how that works out. It does provide the zone defense with that force wall, so that might be enough. And it's going to be Johanna and Lili. Of course, Lili had some adjustments of her own. And from what I've heard, she basically never goes out of mana. Have not tried it myself, so I cannot confirm. That's what I've heard. Last pick, gonna be Leoric again. So, okay, so Leoric and the Tassadar. So we didn't quite get to see the story play out between the Black Hole and the Entomb last game. It didn't quite ever line up exactly how they wanted. So this can certainly combo well. They've got the potential for the Entomb. They've got Stukov. It silences, making sure that Entomb, they can't get out of it. You know, if they catch Li Ming, she can't get away. The Sonia couldn't leap if she takes that. Sylvanas can't get out. So a lot of ways for them to get out, but not if there's a Stukov silence under. Tychus can still do a lot of damage. They've got the Sonia and Johanna. The blind is going to be a little bit of a problem for them. So, you know, they're going to be looking for that taunt blind. Now, Lili, aside from the Lucio ult, Lili has, I believe, the shortest cleanse in the game. The shortest cleanse cooldown. There we go. So may see that coming out quite a bit here this game with that Varian taunt. But let's get our teams introduced on Towers of Doom, my personal favorite map to both cast and play. On the left, we've got the Devil's Rejects. It's going to be Hebrew Hammer playing the Sonia. Symbolic going to be on that Sylvanas. We got Satan Saves on the Johanna. Lunatic going to be on that Lili. And Soldier of God playing Li Ming. I'm going to screw that up a lot. Lili and Li Ming at the same time. On the right, we've got Icecrown Citadel Knights. Shank B going to be playing that Tassadar. Hazard on the Stukov. We got Lich Queen on the Leoric. Shinboku on the Varian. And who am I missing? Madwin there on the Tychus. I got to point out, I just want to say, I like this. You know, good Skinergy there with the Varian. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Also kind of aligning their colors with the red side of the map. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but most of them anyways, relatively red on their skinnage. All right, so Leoric versus Sonia up in the top lane. So I think for the most part, eventually this favors Leoric if they look to do a double soak. But down below here, we do have looking for the Varian or disrupting the rotation there. Shinboku bringing very low, cannot get the parry up to stop enough auto attack damage. And of course, Sylvanas with that damage over time. First blood going over to the Devil's Rejects. And that's going to give them the ability to push in on this tower early here. Rotations coming in the safe way from Icecrown Citadel Knights. But so far, not a lot to answer onto the push here from the Devil's Rejects. Acidar sitting at 35 stacks on, I guess not 35 stacks, 7 stacks on his baseline quest for his shock ray. And again, that's ideally what they're going for, is a big hit, right? To go along with that variant. Now, that said, the camp here, they started this camp and then the rotation coming in immediately. Force Wall's coming out. They're looking for the Johanna. She's going to pop her shield, her unstoppable. And again, this is a time where Devil's Rejects, I mean, they kind of need to be very aggressive here before Varian gets that level 4 and has the ability to taunt them. Now, Sylvanas just picked up Merc Queen, so she wants to stick in here and try to make sure that these make it through for that full damage. 2 of them do make it through, and we see half of that bottom fort already gone from just the 2 Pumpkin Sappers. The level 4 is here now, so taunt coming online for Varian. This is the time that Icecrown Citadel Knights needs to be strong. They've got the advantage. There's the taunt, but the rest of the team's just not quite able to catch up, right? Tassadar, Tychus, not known for their ability to maneuver overly quickly around the map. And Leoric actually went into Ghastly Reach, so the additional range here, as opposed to getting that Neil Peasants. So the double soak actually might favor Sonia now. Varian does pop his parry there. Now keep in mind he's got 2 charges of that, so that slows down the auto attacks. Up above, we've got Leoric versus Sonia stalling that out. Tassadar is going to be able to hit the Lily, so she's going to get stalled out. And once again, those Pumpkin Sappers coming through for Devil's Rejects. Tychus does get the grenade, but it's just not quite in time, and they're not able to kill them. So that's actually... it's only 4 points. They didn't convert it quite quickly enough to be able to get the additional point. So 4 for 4, and I missed that. Sorry. They do get that kill. Varian able to help secure that kill onto the Sylvanas. So can Icecrown Citadel Knights now secure the second altar of this 3? Tychus is having to back. He's only got half of his health. I'm not sure that was the right call, because that leaves this even here. The taunt coming out. If they can get this kill onto Lily, that's huge. And there it is. Tassadar with that shock ray. Gonna finish that kill. But Sylvanas is back. She's coming. She's making her way here now. And between Sonia and Johanna, I mean, they're pretty bulky. Level 7s are here for the Icecrown Citadel Knights. Now, Sonia getting very low there to the Tychus. We'll follow them just to make sure. But she's going to be able to make it out. And thanks to that, Icecrown Citadel Knights able to pick up the second altar. So that only netted them a total of 7 points because of the fact that this tower went down. And the rest of this game becomes more difficult. The big taunt onto Sylvanas, if they can get this kill, it would be huge. But the tower shots coming in, reducing Varian's armor, and now the cavalry coming in, Lily, bringing the blinds to the game here. And I don't recall her full changes, so I don't recall the full details, but she does go into that Let's Go, so has that cleanse pretty frequently, every 40 seconds? Yeah, and it's modified by fast feet, so you're going to see that pretty often. Varian's cooldown, I think, is 16 seconds, so probably about every other, even potential taunt. So Johanna gets blocked out, but does make it to safety behind the wall of the tower. Leoric's going to come down, and they're trying to they're trying to push them back from their own camp. Johanna again going to pull away here, but Varian says, hey, guys, we still have this camp over here that they're about to get. And does Tychus make it out? One more hit, and he probably was toast there, but he's able to make it away from that tower just in time. But a double altar phase coming up, and this is potentially 10 points the Devil's Rejects could pick up, because this tower has not been able to go down, and the siege potential is a little challenging for Icecrown Citadel Knights now. They are going to be able to clear up the minions, but bottom altar is all but impossible for them to really go to. It's not exactly safe. They really have to focus on getting this mid altar. Lily already on bottom is going to be able to channel that pretty quickly here. Sonia versus Leoric up above the point. As Leoric just draining his way. Varian gets the taunt out onto the Sylvanas, but no kill just at the moment. Sonia, however, shoved out between the Leoric and Tychus. So she having to pull back a little bit here. And nobody really quite ready to channel this. Johanna's going to get it started, but taking some damage from the Tassadar, who then immediately takes a shot from Li Ming. Now, Li Ming did go into the Triumvirate here and Zai's Vengeance. So she's getting these additional cooldown reductions every time she hits a player, which is very easy to do here. That said, level 10's here for Devil's Reject, and they take that opportunity to get themselves a quick kill out onto the Tassadar. As well as, I think it was just one. Can they get this kill? They almost have it, and there it is. So 10's coming up for Varian. Able to secure that kill onto the Sylvanas is absolutely huge. There's another point. And the points now, 33 to 23 on the core. And Icecrown Citadel Knights, they need to get this back. This is critical. They cannot just leave this in the enemy team's hands. However, it's not easy for them to do so. They can clear the minion wave pretty quickly with the Tassadar. And they might actually be able to get it back now, because Sylvanas and Li Ming both had to go away. There's Odin popped from Tychus. So this is going down. Archon used as well, especially with the team coming in. So this is going to convert momentarily. There it goes. Mind Control just missing. As Varian is going to have to use Protect, gets caught by Lily's Water Dragon there. And the taunt coming out, not sure there's enough there, as Sonia coming in and able to secure the kill onto Tassadar up above. Lily able to use that fast feet and get away after the Varian taunt. And of course, Varian taunt works just fine against the Lily. She can't very well cleanse herself. But the pressure from Sonia onto the backline there, working into the Tassadar, made it very difficult. They could not do anything about that. Here comes our next altar. Now, this altar, at least Icecrown Citadel Knights currently has their tower. I'm not sure if the 3 sappers are going to bring it down. Very close. Once again, the Mind Control just missing. And Li Ming trying to bomb this bottom fort to convert that. Leoric's coming down now, does not have the Entomb. Varian's going to get pulled back rather by Johanna as she gets the Blessed Shield coming out. Sonia spinning to win as the points going over there to the Devil's Rejects. Lich Queen in a little bit of danger. They do get caught by Lily's Water Dragon, sharing that with the Tassadar. And Varian looking for that Lily, but just can't quite get there. And we see the Shock Ray, the Grenade, all just a little bit outside of where they needed to be to get that Lily. Can they get this taunt onto the Li Ming? It didn't matter. Tychus and Tassadar able to secure that one. And that is a big kill. That gives them a lot of potential here. But Sylvanas, once again, getting right in onto the camps, keeping that pressure going. And with that Merc Queen, these are powerful camps. They do a lot of damage. Checking in on the XP here. So pretty much identical overall. Minions, almost identical. Heroes a little bit in favor, actually, of Icecrown Citadel Knights, because they've gotten not only the one more kill, but they've also gotten them later, which makes them worth more. And this time, the Pumpkin Sappers will not get to their targets. Getting cleared up beforehand. Getting the taunt out onto the Li Ming, but Mind Control coming out onto Varian here. Johanna has her Unstoppable, so she'll get out of there. And for the moment, at least, it's looking like that may be it. Varian has passing the green pustule among their friends. As we get the next altar coming up in 2 seconds. Leoric's already here. Of course, Sonia coming in. She does have that leap, so she can jump onto any target she needs to here. Shamboku out of the fight a little bit here down below. And in that time, the Devil's Rejects able to take the fort. Lily gets caught by the taunt, But everybody kind of split here. Now we see the Knights gathering their forces, coming back in. And they don't have a fort in the bot lane to retreat to. They may not even actually know that. That may not be something that they were really paying attention to, since it happened at kind of a weird time. But Johanna's going to fall, Varian as well. So no tank on either side. Which team does that favor? Well, right now, I think Tychus is the beast here. He's got that 25 armor, at least for the few seconds. But Lily can kind of act as a tank too. So can Sonia. And Symbolic here getting caught by an absolute truckload of damage, but Lily's going to be able to keep that up. Tychus in the back, able to get the channel. So now 30-19 and going straight for their camp. The invade coming, but it's just a little bit too late. Now Tychus, though, gets caught by the mind control trying to go back to safety, and that's a quick kill there for the Devil's Rejects, evening out the kill count and gaining a little bit of an advantage in the XP. Now, thanks to that camp, though, they're able to get that tower down to about half health. So this is a much easier prospect for them to be able to pick up. Johanna's going to come in and try to catch the Varian, but not quite able to do so. Oh, it's voice unmuted. I'm so excited to see you here. But anyways, I got to get back to the game. So Leoric up in the top lane, soaking, and Sonia coming in to help as well. Keep in mind, with that level 4, take a look at how far this goes, right? This Shattered Ground, 125%, 66% additional range. So those slams are going far. One last set of siege pumpkins coming in the bot lane. Can they get this through? Now, they've got a pretty strong front line here. Acidar still has the force wall. One of them going down, 2, 3. They'll all go down. Varian getting caught by the mind control is taking all of the damage from Sylvanas, as he also gets slowed by the water dragon, trying to make it to the tap. Does get there. Archon coming out, and they get the kill onto Sylvanas. Moving on. Can Tassadar catch up? Trying to get that Li Ming, but not quite able to get it. Tychus throwing out the long range attacks, and with Sylvanas down, keeping now the advantage in favor of Icecrown Citadel Knights. It's going to be potentially, they could maybe get 2 of these. Leoric's going to get the leap, going to be the recipient of that, as Johanna's going to go pick up the defensive side. I was going to say, we're going to see the March of the Black King here. And now Sonia spinning away, does have that additional movement speed, gets caught by the taunt and deleted. And that's a great staggered kill in favor of Icecrown Citadel Knights here. They're going to be able to pick up 4 more points and make this a little bit closer of a game now. So this is definitely starting to pick up. Certainly not quite in their favor. They do have the greater kill count at this point. But this map is all about the core health. And at 22-15, it's certainly still in the hands of the Devil's Rejects. But this game's not over. I'm glad you could be here, Katie. Leoric up on the top, however, getting caught by the mind control, is going to be able to use that March once again to get a big burst of health. Doesn't have a lot of health, though, or mana, rather, and so isn't quite able to make it out. The siege camp taking out the tower and is going to be able to put quite a big burst of damage into this top fort. We saw earlier that was about half of its health. A little bit less. I think one of them lost the buff. But they are able to pick up in the bot lane. Icecrown Citadel Knights will gather the siege pumpkins on their own side, and for the first time this game, they'll actually get an invade onto their opponents. But they trade 4 points for it right here, right into the core. So 22-11, and now they're going to lose their top lane. That said, if Icecrown Citadel Knights picks up this bottom fort, this is absolutely huge for them. Just as we saw how difficult it was for them to take over this bottom fort on their own side, and how much value it provided the enemy team when they were able to get these bottom altars and all that. That's a significant value to them. But the altars, these next couple of altars, are in the top lane. So all it really does is even out the potential kill pressure against the core. 4 points to 4 points. And the poke value here is definitely in favor of Devil's Rejects. Not only because of their positioning, just because of the heroes they have. Li Ming has that long-range orb. And we're already going to see Sylvanas picking up her 4 points. And now she's in, Leeming over the wall. She doesn't have to worry about anything from that tower here. But a taunt coming in. Leap is going to land onto the back line, getting onto the Stukov. Stukov's trying to run away. The disintegrate over the wall, but the Arcane Orb will get Stukov and reset, of course, everything that Leeming can get. So Sonia fell there as well. And now it looks like Lily's going to fall. So 2-for-1 in favor of Icecrown Citadel Knights. And just a parting gift there from Soldier of God. Just a little orb to remind them of their presence. The level 20 is coming up, and this is their last boon in the talent realm here. Leeming caught very, very low. If Tychus was any closer, that's a kill, and they really could have used that kill. Bot lane going to be triggered back over to the Devil's Rejects, and of course, Leoric trying to do the same up here in top lane, but doesn't quite have the same pressure, especially one person as opposed to the whole team. Up in the top with the level 20s, we're going to see Tychus pushing onto this mid fort, using the big red button, throwing out the nukes. Mind control just missing once again. A little bit of damage being spread out there, though. And this is actually, I think this is actually better that they were able to leave this at low health, because it means that they can convert that right before the objective the next time this comes up. There are 2 altars coming up. That means an extra point if they can convert that. Kind of the same thing here, but this is a little bit more dangerous because of the fact that right here, yeah, this camp's coming now. That's 3 points that they have to be mindful of, and they can't really just let that happen, because that turns this into a single altar game, and there are 2 altars up. And Icecrown Citadel Knights have not had a lot of luck in getting those done before the enemy comes in. But over the wall there, we missed the shield, the blessed shield, and Sylvanas is going to make it out the double with the leap and the dragon, slowing everybody. This is so bad for the Icecrown Citadel Knights as they lose Stukov. Tychus very low as well, but Johanna is extremely low, does pop that indestructible as Archon here for the Leeming, and it's not going to matter. The banner going out, so Tassadar has that benefit if he gets a little closer. The taunt or the mind control coming in, forcing Tassadar to do his attacks there onto the Sylvanas. And that might be game. Leoric's going to try to come in and stall, but ultimately it's not going to be enough. And Tychus back on the map. Don't think that there's anything he can do. And it's looking like game number 2 going to be going over to Devil's Rejects. Savahe, bringing in your friends. Welcome, everybody. We just finished up. We're going to do a quick interview here. Well, presumably we're going to do a quick interview in a moment. And then I will send you guys over to a good friend of mine who should be casting. Oh, and his cast just started. You're going to want to stick around for that for sure. It is going to be a honkin' good time. But thank you for bringing everybody over, Savahe. Really appreciate it. Let's take a quick peek at these stats. Kills 11-11. I mean, this was a very even game as far as the team fights as they went. And ultimately, you know, again, just like in game 1, it was largely a macro game. And that was, you know, primarily just on the Devil's Rejects to play the PvE version of the game a little bit better and ultimately secure that victory. So let me just give me 1 second while I reach out and see if I can get an interview. Real quick. I think I said quick, but a quick interview real quick. That's what we're doing here. What? Somebody's in my lobby. What is that noise? Can't believe somebody's in my lobby. All right, we'll go to 4. Hello and welcome. All right, how are you doing? Yeah, you know, it happens sometimes, but I'm glad I could pick it up. It was, you know, I had some challenges with Twitch, so I had to kind of work those things out before I could determine whether or not I'd be able to cast, but I was able to work it out a little bit before. Sure. Well, listen, I'm glad that we could do this. So congratulations on your victory. We didn't even get to start with that. It was a very strong game for you guys, and let's talk a little bit about it. So first of all, how does your team feel after what is this? I think this is your third victory in the season so far. Oh, hold on. Apparently the sound isn't on for you guys. 1 second. I don't know why it does this. Game sound, change that. They must have not heard the game either. Oh well, like the game itself.
No, you are able to be heard during the game. I have my family watches the stream.
Gotcha. Yeah, but the game itself wasn't being heard. All right,
Oh.
so let's try this again. Now you guys should be able to hear. I'm joined by basically the entire team of Devil's Rejects, and my last question was, how does it feel to win your third match of the season? And your response was,
it feels great. This is probably the best team I put together, and we're definitely going to be playoff potential. So I'm super excited about it.
so tell me a little bit about your guys' history as a team. You mentioned this is the best team that you put together. Is like, have you guys played together before? Is this all new?
This is a brand new team. I think me and Luna played a couple matches in HL together, but there was a lot of people recruiting for this season, so I had a lot of turnover. We were a playoff team last year in Divi. We made it to the semifinals, and a lot of my teammates went to other teams. So I did all new recruiting. I found some guys in Storm League that had really strong mechanics, like Symbolic and Soldier, and Hebrew was referred to me from another team, and we did a lot of practice together. Like, we did a full month of nothing but scrims on higher division teams before the season started. So we were doing 3 scrims a week versus Div B and A teams, because a lot of the players were solo players. They weren't used to group play, and I was just giving them an idea how it would be. And once we got over that solo player mentality into that group play, it completely turned around, and now this is the end product of what you're seeing today.
Sure. And what I saw today was, both teams kind of were relatively even in the team fighting aspect. Of course, I think the kill count was exactly the same in both games, 4-4 and then 11-11. But it was really the macro play that showed up so much. In game number 1, to me, it didn't take very long to see, you weren't going Asmo Globadan, you were going like just Siege PvE game as much as possible. And that's a strategy that I've seen on a few other maps, Hanamura, on Towers of Doom. And so it was pretty clear that that's kind of what you were going for. And then that's exactly how it played out. So doing those scrims, did that help you guys as a team to get better into the macro so that you could perform these kind of comps in this kind of style?
Honestly, our macro was pretty poor at the beginning, but we strive in our team fight. So that first match, you seen us play super aggressive. You control the macro, you control the map, you control the fight, is what I've always said. And we had them pressed out every chance we could. We were slow in rotations, so we kept that macro pushed out as much as we could, along with the Asmodan knocking down with the Siege.
Sure. And so I do have a quick question for the Malfurion there, and that was it Luna playing Malfurion?
Yes. Yep.
So Luna, I haven't really been able to play with Malfurion since I don't personally play a lot of healers in that, but haven't been able to play with Malfurion. How do you feel about the Emerald Dreams as a talent? I saw you use that tonight.
Well, I mean, it definitely helped with zoning. If they actually got caught in it, if I knocked it on the back line a little bit, some of them got caught up in that. I'll have to watch a replay to really see how well that worked. It's an interesting talent. It's definitely very strong whenever you've got another character like Mal'Ganis who can sleep. But I'll tell you, the most invaluable thing about Malfurion was the innervate. Got the extra stack. The Falstad and the Asmodan, I was able to keep them without having to go back for mana like the entire game. And
that's huge.
Such a huge role in that push and that macro.
Yeah, and obviously Falstad, even before his changes, was pretty mana hungry. I feel like now he's even more so. Would you generally agree? I don't remember who played Falstad, but whoever did, would you generally agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would normally. It just, like he said, he kept me with mana, so I didn't get to really experience that. I haven't played Falstad since the changes, because it was banned, the build that I wanted to use. So when I heard that the ban was released, I was excited to go ahead and explore this build. So mana wasn't bad for me because he had me filled up, but yeah, it felt good. I like the build.
Sure. And then you guys got into Towers of Doom, and again, you were able to play a little bit aggressively in that early game, especially before the taunt came online. It started in the mid game to kind of look like things were shifting, that the power shift had kind of leaned towards Icecrown Citadel Knights. So when that happens, I always find it interesting to find out, like, how does your team respond to a little bit of a power shift there? Do you care? Do you like have any kind of like brief, hey, we lost somebody, so let's have a quick pep talk? Like, what's the game plan when something like that happens?
So normally it's if we're pressing the map and we have control of the map and we're playing super. That's our play style. We're super aggressive. We're always pushing the map. When we start to lose the team fights, that's when we decide to back off. That's when we decide to check the map, check the mini map, and look for ganks and play more safe. And I think that was the call for that.
Sure, good deal. Well, I'm not going to ask you any more questions about the game. I have one final question, which is, my kind of patented trademark arrow question, which is, and I'm not going to ask it of all five of you. Usually it'd just be one of you. So I'll just ask it of you, the captain. What was any particular moment from the match that you, and it doesn't have to be a big crazy play, but what was your favorite moment that you really want to make sure gets highlighted?
It's a tough question. I would say it'd be Towers of Doom when we caught their healer Hazard on that when we were bushing. I always love a good bush gank. That's like, I love it. It's so methodical and put out there that we all set up and wait. And when we were on that bush and waiting and seeing that they were split and turned on them and got that healer, then we were like, okay, we could end. And I felt like that was the turning point to that game, and that was the win condition. And I feel like that was the best play of the game.
Sure. Good deal. All right. Well, any shout outs before we let you go for the evening?
Yeah. Really quick, because I do this every time. I want to give a shout out to my mom because she watches these. She support me forever. The waifu, right? Emma, shout out. The kids, Graydon and Alexander, right? They don't really watch. They just play with toys and scream in the background, and my team puts up with it. And my sister. Big shout out to the whole fam.
Yeah, shout out to you, Arrow. We greatly appreciate the cast. We played last match without a cast, and we don't get the same hype we normally do when we're not casted. So, giving you MVP.
MVP, baby.
Appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely.
And shout out to everyone who has a mustache.
That's not me.
And shout out to Symbolix mom. I know she just shows up to watch me.
There you go.
Love you, Mom.
Well, listen, I appreciate you guys coming in here, and yeah, it's always nicer to be able to, once you're done with the match, be able to kind of, I know that when I'm done running a match, playing in one, that I like to go back and watch the cast and just relax, like before I go to bed, just, look at and see what things could I have done better, what things, did I not even see that the casters saw, and, get some of that feedback too. So, I try to help out whenever I can. Today just happened to line up timing wise. It's been a little difficult to get casts this season. There, all the casts on the days that I can cast are taken, and the days I can't cast are when they're open. So go figure, right? But I'm glad we could pick this up for you.
I'll be definitely sure to message you.
So I'm gonna mention this for Twitch, but just so you guys know, if you're interested, tomorrow, Storm Division Nexus Gaming Series Twitch at 9 p.m. That's where I'll be. So
we'll be there in support. We appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, sir.
You too. Thanks.
You too.
All right, so that's gonna be it for the cast for the stream here. But if you're interested in having some more of really great Here's the Storm action, I happen to know this was Division D East here between the Devil's Rejects and Icecrown Citadel Knights. But Division D West, I couldn't tell you who's playing, but Moist Weenus is casting over in Division D West, and he just started a few minutes, so I'm gonna send you over there. I also do want to listen. I know you guys are here for HOTS, but if you have not gotten into the Twitch music community, like you're missing out. There are some absolutely fantastic streamers out there. A lot of people who got started since the pandemic started, and like go check them out. In chat, Voice Unmuted is one of those that I've followed, and I think their community is absolutely fantastic. And check out the music scene in Twitch. Whatever your music is, you can find some people about that. I don't have a funky shout out command, so you'll just have to go to twitch.tv/voiceunmuted for that. But thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful evening, and don't forget, tomorrow 9 p.m. twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series for the Storm Division. I believe it's, if you wait 1 second, I'll tell you who's playing, because I forgot. It's Regen and whoever they're playing, which is Chili Mountain tomorrow? That last week. It is Regen versus Heavy Impact. Okay, so 9 o'clock, Regen versus Heavy Impact. Thanks everybody. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.